Hi, I'm Litvarski and today I want to talk about Pistorm. I'm sure you know what it is already, but I'll do a recap. So, Pistorm is an adapter that connects to your Amiga 500 through its 68,000 CPU socket. You see the pins from the below. And also this has an GPIO socket which connects to a Raspberry Pi through this GPIO header. The Raspberry Pi computer runs a 68,000 CPU emulator called Musashi, and this acts as the CPU for the Amiga. This all is done to make the Amiga much faster, at least from the CPU side of things. So, I will do some tests with the Pistorm and some benchmarks. Also, I will show you the LaserStorm adapter, which is here. This is used to connect the Pistorm externally to the Amiga. And this is very convenient because first of all, you don't need to open up your Amiga when you want to connect or disconnect the Pistorm when doing other stuff with the Amiga. And secondly, the Pistorm has these, or the Raspberry Pi has these ports like USB, HDMI, and 3.5mm jack for AHE audio. And the USB would be for keyboard and mouse, and HDMI is for output from the Raspberry Pi or the RTG graphics. And in any case, maybe the RTG and AHI would be the most interesting to have to be, so that when you use it, you have a cable coming from these ports. And if this is internal, then you have to find a way to get these cables out of the Amiga. But with the LaserStorm, you can just plug this Pistorm to the external slot through this adapter, and you can easily get the cables out. And thirdly, there's also the heat, so that the Raspberry Pi might heat up and it cools down better when it's outside the Amiga. So let's have a look at the GitHub page of the LaserStorm. This board is created by Edu Arana, who has his own retro shop at arananet.net. But his board is also open source, so you can buy this from other people who have manually constructed such a board. Edu's wish is that these are not for sale on eBay, and I hope people will respect that wish. It says so on here on the board that it's not for sale on eBay. So first of all, to prepare the adapter, you will need to set some jumpers. So on the A500, you have to first check which revision you have. So for example, if you have an A6A, you have a revision 6A, then you need to set this jumper JP6, this one here in the red circle. So you have to sort this with a solder blob. But then if you have an revision 8, then you don't have to do anything at all, because this connects the 7 MHz signal and it's already going through on the revision 8. On the LaserStorm adapter itself, there are also two jumpers you have to check. So these are the VPA-JPay 2 to 3 and BR-JPay. So how I got this adapter working was that I sorted them both, and then it worked. Here it says that they should be open, and I believe that this is supposed to mean that you have to sort them, because that's what works for me anyway. So here is the LaserStorm from close up, and you can see here are the two jumpers. I have sorted them both. So we are ready to flick the power switch. So this is now the HDMI output of the Raspberry Pi. It will soon change to a workbench because we have RTG enabled. So the RTG goes from the Raspberry Pi's HDMI output. Also I have connected the RGB card to another output when it's needed to have the PAL modes. So here's the workbench, and let's have a look at some multitasking. Not here, but let's take some music from the hip hop player. So I put 2 zip files and start to extract them. Then I will go to amiga.org. But that was very fast, so let's go to amigaword.net. Now here we have to do some waiting to get the whole web page to be seen. How does the extracting go? That was already done. So we will remove those files and extract them again. Yeah, the multitasking seems to work fine. So let's have a look at some games. Didn't take too many 2D games because they wouldn't benefit from the acceleration anyway. But this Lionheart I wanted to see how it works. Oops. Oh. Oh, okay, I chose 2-button joystick. There you saw a glitch. So the background is not. Background is a little bit glitching. But other than that it's very much working like as it should. So here you can already see that this is quite slow. And once we try to drive, then it stays pretty slow. So this is very much a disappointment. This game, I'm not sure what is the reason that it doesn't work like it should. I mean, it's slower than a stock A500. So I suppose that there is the thing that the chip RAM access of the Pistorm is not very good. In some cases it is worse than a stock A500. Also there's that I'm using the Amiga OS 3.2 and that may have some conflict with the Pistorm, but I don't know, I haven't checked this in 3.1 or other versions. So here the intro is pretty much what shows us the speed. You can see this is very smooth and runs beautifully. So this really runs well. There's a cloud, some other clouds as well, and no slowdowns at all. This also is very smooth. So this is Doom, and here we have to have this smallest resolution 320 to 200 and graphics detail to be low, at least on this was it Doom attack, this port. But with these settings this is actually quite playable. Sorry about the static noise, there's some static going on. So that was Doom, and then we can also play Gloom Deluxe, because this game has a setup that you can use an RTG screen. Here we use the 320 to 256 with 16-bit color even. See, this runs very smoothly. Wish I knew the buttons. benchmarks. So let's first take sysinfo because that's the one everyone knows. Speed, so it's emulating a 68020 at this moment, and well, 7 megahertz doesn't seem right because we are faster than an 68040 with 25 megahertz. So we are pretty fast on the CPU side. And then we will take AIBB. So take all 20s, and beach ball is one of the tests. So rendering a beach ball was about 2 times as fast as an A4000 with an 040. So this is our Pistorm, and then there's some comparison results with other Amigas. Matrix is very CPU intensive, so the CPU wins. Tristorm is much closer between the 4000 and the Pistorm. The right pixel it's almost the same. So, but anyway, it's that kind of an comparable to an 040 pretty much. Lastly, we will do a bus test, which tests the memory access. So here we will take fast and cheap, and let's take the ROM also. So this will test the read and write speeds to the different memories. So here you see the results. So we will look at the read M and write M. Those are pretty much the important when there's intensive stuff happening. So lots of data going around. To my understanding, the read M shows that case. So read speed from the fast memory is about 130 megabytes per second, and write speed is 100 megabytes per second. And when we compare these to for example other 060 processors or 060 accelerator cards on Amigas, we can see that, well, so the Pistorm Mark III is one of the very best at read and write speeds, and it has 72 megabytes per second read speed and 55 megabytes writing speed. So it's almost 2 times better the Pistorm's reading and write speeds, both. Approximately, a little bit less than 2 times more, but anyway, this shows that the memory access is very good. And this is important in 3D games such as the Frontier and Doom and the Gloom and other 3D games. But then the chip memory. Here actually the read and write speeds are pretty low, because I checked the Amiga 500 how my Amiga 500 handles chip RAM when it is stock. Only has maybe has 500 kilobytes of fast, but nothing other acceleration. The speeds of the, especially the write M and read M. The write M was 2.8, whereas here it is 2.3 megabytes per second. So writing and reading lots of stuff to chip memory is actually a little bit slower than on a stock A500. I'm not sure if that is. I'm not certain if it's the reason why some games are slower, but the chip memory access seems to be a problem with the Pistorm. So also I could try to show you some demos, but I tried 5 demos and none of them worked. All of them crashed the machine, and actually even the emulation, so that I had to log into the Raspberry Pi from my PC, and then from the PC I could start the emulation again. Only by that way of doing I could get back to the workbench. So it seems that the demos are not very much working. They are too hard for the Pistorm. But all in all the Pistorm is quite interesting. So that actually I didn't think we had any crashes this time. Sometimes it crashes, and sometimes it doesn't. So it's not the most reliable, but not the most compatible. But it is in active development, so it could be that you get some caveats bettered at some point. So, but the LaserStorm is a very, very good thing here that makes it so that I can easily plug the Pistorm in and out, and not use the Pistorm when I don't feel like it, and makes it very, very convenient. So I will be playing with this more in the future. But I think that's all. So that's all from me this time. So, and thanks for watching.